day you'll buy a ride on a comet, and you'll ride into the sunset of the planet that's beyond it, beyond the wall of Vomit. And you will stash it in your pocket, and you'll take it to Manhattan, man, where your grandma's 10 and you are 10. You're not a family man, you're best friend. And you will hold it together under the oldest running water of the river of each other, with the power of the future. One day you'll ride into the dawning.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking and Reviews, back to talk about more Perpetual Grace Limited, the epic series that is really, really good. We're at Season 1, Episode 4. It is Part 2 of Felipe G. Usted, almost first Mexican on the moon. And so, full spoilers if you haven't seen this episode. So, just jumping right in, Pa is not a very convincing ice cream salesman because even Hector's kids realize that everything that he's doing is fucked up. And just the way he's talking about it. And I just love, they're smart kids in this way at least. And where do I get a hoverboard? How much are hoverboards? Damn. Also, I'm as soon as I can find a Perpetual Grace Limited poster or like T-shirt or something, I want to get one of those. So like I've been looking for them. I've only been able to find one Patriot shirt, which is crazy. But anyway, I will be wearing one of those as soon as I can find it, because I kind of want to do a contest. But anyway, so the kids. Sorry, it's been a long day, so if I'm a little all over the place, I apologize. But the kids, they finally bail. Much to Pa's chagrin, but I really do love this scene. This is a really, really funny scene. But we also find out that 8 years ago in Glenn's bedroom, in black and white, we find out that Michael Chernus from Patriot is playing Glenn's dad. And this scene is really, really, really sad. Because it's played, you know, he's sitting there reading him Call of the Wild. Michael Chernus, by the way, is a fucking fantastic actor. And I was trying to find clips so I could show you who I'm talking about. But he's the Tinkerer from Spider-Man Homecoming, if you want to get, like, you know, the thing that people would see him most in. I mean, Orange is the New Black, Easy, on Netflix. He's all over the place. He really is. And he's fantastic on Patriot. So I was really excited that they got him back for this. And I started feeling bad because I was like, well, maybe Glenn's dad, you know, maybe I judged him too harshly because the situation outright just looks very neglectful. But he tells little Glenn, 8 years in the past, that his mom's not coming back. Now they never say that he says that she's never coming back again. So I don't know what that means, if she's just gone, or if she died and he just doesn't want to tell him. But it's all just really sad, especially the way young Glenn plays it. Just like he's so excited, and then to see his just hopes just dashed. Got his hopes dashed. Sorry, couldn't help it. I set myself up for it. I had to do it. But I felt at the time when I was watching this that maybe I was judging Glenn's dad too harshly. But speaking of Glenn, where we start off the episode, we get Dash Williams in here with his little goggles and earmuffs and everything. And I just want to show you a little thing where I thought this was a really interesting thing from Dash Williams. Look, he's a kid, so he doesn't have that big of an IMDb page. But I did find this, and I thought it was really, really cute. And good. And funny. Probably don't want to tell a teenager that something they were in was cute. So here we go.
Next up to the stage, he is hilarious. He'll dash up here, Dash Williams.
Dash, okay? Seriously. Nobody can ever understand Dash. Like, when I'm at Starbucks. Oh, welcome to Starbucks. Can I take your order? Yeah, can I have a vanilla latte? Okay, what's your name? Dash. Okay. Okay, Josh. We have a vanilla latte for Josh. Josh, anybody? So every day I take Josh's latte. So before we continue, are there any Joshes in the audience? Are there any? Sir, look, I got your letters, and I saw that you keyed my car, and I'm sorry for taking your latte. Security, yep. Yep, his name's Josh. Yep. And worse than that, sometimes people do understand it, but they think it's like a joke or not a name but a word. Welcome to Granville Cafes. Sorry, we're really busy. Can I help you? Yeah, can I have a reservation for 2 at 7:30? Okay, what's your name? And can you speak up a little bit? It's very loud here, okay? My name's Dash. I'm sorry. I'm going as fast as I can, okay? What is your name? Dash. Look, my name is Kovac in 45 minutes, and use a real name when you do.
I just think that's really cool. I mean, I've thought about going to do stand-up, but this kid Zara has actually done it, and that takes a lot of guts getting up in front of people and doing that. And hopefully someday I can have the same guts that Dash Williams has, because that's just it really is. I also want to make note, I've been forgetting about the directors in this. I've been covering everybody else, and I'm going to try to pay more attention. I'm really sorry to the directors that I haven't mentioned in this, because I've talked about everything else just about. James Whitaker, you even went to my Twitter, so I feel bad that I haven't been mentioning it, but James Whitaker is a great director. He's directed this. And so I apologize again, unreservedly, for skipping out. I try to be thorough and mention everybody. But anyway, so yeah, he's getting prepared. Glenn is getting prepared for Mexico. James, as much guilt as he's feeling, and you can tell that everything that he's saying to people and getting them to do things is weighing on him. But it's like it's still not enough to like get him to just stop. But you know, he really, I mean, he wants the money, but everybody's in trouble at this point, and it's kind of maddening. This episode gets kind of maddening because you just like you want to see stuff either happen one way or the other, like either get caught or don't get caught. Like I said, everything's always on the razor's edge here. But he gets on the bus, and all he's got to do is get to Hermosillo and get the $2,000 in the bank that Hector needs in there, because his wife's going to find out that the money was taken out to buy the ankle bracelet for the real Paul's girlfriend that supposedly is also Hector's girlfriend. But his wife would see the money gone when she goes to buy the typewriter that was owned by a famous Latin American writer. It's a whole thing. And for like A to B kind of situations, it's like freaking intense. And somebody was also mentioning, I was watching a review for this show, calling it one of the funniest shows on TV right now. It really is one of the funniest shows on TV right now, but it's so much more than just that. I hate it. I hate when people just pigeonhole things as one thing. Ma has a sitting buddy, and Pa's an ice cream truck stalker. So he shows up at the school looking just creepy as hell. Ma gets a sitting buddy. There's a young girl at the prison exercise area where they're at. That's apparently getting picked on by all the other girls because she's younger. I don't know how it works in prison, but Ma decides to let her sit next to her as a little sitting buddy. And I didn't think of any of this at the time. I was just like, oh, she says she can come sit by her, so I figured, oh well, this is probably going to work as some sort of weird distraction, right? Wow, we'll get to it. But James does find Felipe G. Usted at NASA, and this is just heartbreaking because he's like, I'm the #1 space cadet, I'm almost in space, and James is just like, well, you have to leave. And it's all about, if he doesn't put the hold on the death certificate for Hector, Hector can go to jail, Felipe can go to jail, all for falsifying this, and it is like important that he is there because he says it's life and death. You can't just, this is people's lives, you can't just phone it in. It's one of these official things, which, thankfully is official. And thankfully, people usually take it, seriously. But Felipe's talking about how there's an age limit. And if he doesn't get it done now, he never gets to go before he's 43. If he doesn't get it done, he's screwed. And he's just like, you can't. You can, but you're not going to go because you're going to be in jail. You're going to be in prison, so it won't even matter. So I'm sorry, you can't go to space. And it's really sad, especially when he's like, can I just go do the zero gravity chamber? It'll be the closest thing I get to being in space now that I know I'll never make it. And it's just, okay, here's the PSA. Here's the more you know thing. Kids, if you want to go to space, don't break the law for your buddy Hector, okay? Or anyone. If you plan to go to space, plan on being squeaky fucking clean. So there. But it is still heartbreaking, him sitting in the chamber just this close to being a spaceman. But that's just sad. But again, you can only feel sorry for him so much. He made the decision to do what he did. So, anyway, don't break the law, kids. And Dash, we find out, didn't get to the bank from Hector. And Hector also realizes that his wallet's finally gone. So, Hector knows where Pa went. I also see James talking, well, we also need to find out where Dash went. But James talks to his dad on the phone again, with no answer, and they shoot over to this person in a spacesuit. Now, I'm assuming we're just supposed to think that that's just a metaphor, there's no space guy, his dad's not in some spacesuit across town, right? So it's just a kind of a cool visual for the kind of lost soul that James is. And it also reminded me of when Rick on The Walking Dead would talk to Lori after she died. And you know what? I don't fucking give a shit. If you're watching this, you should be caught up on everything. Just kidding. But I'm not going to be like, spoilers, 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 spoilers. Everything is spoilers. That show's been on for 9-10 years. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ignore me. But yeah, it's kind of like when Rick calls Lori, except Lori answered back and he was really gone at that point. But I don't know if we'll get any kind of resolution to what that's going on about, if it's just his ritual. He doesn't have there's a lot of absentee dads in this, is what I'm saying. And he, it doesn't help that he still has the real Paul, talking about the 11 kids that the firefighter had with 11 quinceañeras and 11 this and 11 that. And, honestly, again, I don't know why anybody listens to Paul, but apparently he's very persuasive. And we get back to Ma at the train, and it's all, your hair is so pretty and all this stuff, and it's Jackie Weaver is just being really nice, and I let my guard down. I don't know what's going on, and then the train whistles. So she's braiding the girl's hair, and the train whistle blows, and I go, oh, well, maybe Ma's going to try to jump on the train, stay on the train and get off. But no, Ma gets up, and then so does the girl next to her. And then it's holy fuck, Ma just tied that poor girl's braid to the train. I was like, oh my God. And so with that, if you don't know who Jackie Weaver is, she's been in a lot of stuff. She's on that show that's on Netflix called Secret City. I watched some of it, and I haven't gone back, and I need to because I love Anna Torv, who's also in that. But it's an Australian show. Jackie Weaver's an Australian actress, and she was also in another show where she also kind of shows off kind of a rigid side, I guess.
Hey, Randall, before you go on, this boy who's currently being looked after, tell me if you agree with this, this boy who's being looked after, He knows who you are. And you know how these things go. They're going to ask him all sorts of questions about everything he's ever seen or done. Everyone he's ever met. The whole schmozzle. And you've done some bad things, sweetie.
So yeah, we can see that Jackie Weaver is quite an accomplished actress and pretty good at intimidation. Now, Deloach. I need to talk about Deloach because he's the guy that's getting out of jail that Pa is afraid of. And I can't find this guy in the credits. I can't find him anywhere. I thought it was the guy who played Peter Pettigrew in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, but I can't find anybody with this, and so I really need to find out who this is. So if anybody else knows who plays Deloach, the British guy that's getting out of jail, please put it in the comment section because I am desperate to find out who this guy is. He's so familiar looking, but I can't find him in anything. But he's killed a lot of people. I love listening to his list of like how he remembers all of his convictions. I guess you might remember that if you're in jail for that long, but he remembers them all pretty apparently. And he's coming to the U.S. Also, his little speech that they make him give is pretty interesting. I wonder if that must be a real thing. It seems like a real thing. But he's coming to the U.S. to come see Pa apparently. Now, unfortunately, Hector catches up with Ma, like pretty quickly. Like she gets away, she runs away, but Hector catches her, and then, yeah, it's pretty uneventful the catch. But later on, it gets even better. I really like this scene that's coming up. But James is searching for Glenn now because he's just out in the freaking desert, and he's like he can't face the world anymore. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know about tides. He doesn't know about when the position of the sun is also, which finds out like I really thought maybe, you know, he knows a little bit, but no, he's just straight up lost in the desert because he can't see. Everything hurts. This is really just this poor kid. This poor kid. And then I find out that like after whatever's going on with his mom, right? So we don't know if she's dead or not. She's just not around. And ever since that scene in the beginning, right, that he's reading to him Call the Wild, and Glenn says, you know, he doesn't read to me anymore, and all he does is drink. He goes to AA, but he only goes there for the shrimp cocktail. Then he goes and he's known as the town drunk, even though there's plenty of people that drink, but he's known as the town drunk. And I'm just going to keep walking left until I get to the Pacific, and it's such a sad story. It's just like one of those where you're just like, oh, like everything is just, oh God. And then you have to see like his dad going to the lake, and you see the words from the above getting washed away by the tide, and how it's Father's Day, and his father calls the pawn shop on Father's Day. I guess as one would, maybe. But he does, you know, I'm seeing the neglectful side of this, that he's just drunk all the time. And like I said, without any further reasoning other than just the wife is gone and his life fell apart. And that's usually like from a death that somebody, you know, goes that far down into the bottle. But I don't know. I didn't need a death in the family to dive into the bottle, but who knows. Maybe we'll get a little bit more background on that as it goes on. But he calls up and Dash doesn't answer. Or Glenn doesn't answer. And for some reason, this actually gives him pause. Maybe because Glenn's always being responsible, and Glenn's always at the shop. And if he doesn't answer the phone, it actually means something's wrong. It's just unfortunate that that's the signal, right? That's the way to know. That's just sad. So he doesn't answer, and we get to see the water carry away by the tide. Then there's a lot of stuff about dads in this too. And we get to listen to New Leaf talking to James about his dad. And how his dad knew about all three people that he killed. And how he's like, one day he just says, tell me everything. And he tells him all the stuff that he's done. And his dad says, son, I love you. And Jimmy says, what else did he say? And he says, I don't know. I never heard a sound after the first thing he said. And it's ringing like a bell of love. Damn. That's just so, like, that's beautiful, man. That is really beautiful. It's just so, like, this thing is hitting a lot of feelings. I mean, besides the girl getting her hair tied to the train, this has got a lot of heavy emotions of loss and neglect in this episode. It's just like, you know, between Felipe having to walk away from the astronaut program to knowing what's the background of Glenn, to hearing this story from Tracy/New Leaf. He calls me New Leaf because he knew it was important to me. It's just great. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like yearning for a father figure. I'm not. But Glenn's dad is actually looking for Glenn. He's running literally down the street because he gets to like the store and he's not there. He can't get in. So I guess that means he doesn't even have keys for the store. Probably because he probably lose them like somewhere drunk. This next part though, Hector and Ma having this conversation where he's digging outside and she's talking to him from the car, or you could see it either way. They film it both ways, where he's having the conversation out there, she can hear him, and then they go to her inside the car where she's talking to him. I really think it's an interesting way to do it. People don't, that's not something that you see very, I don't know if I've ever seen that. And especially at this length, because Hector really goes on a long, almost like by the end of his conversation about what his wife has done and how she's so great at presents and she's the best. And I'm like thinking, if she's the best, then what are you doing? And it's almost, part of this conversation is almost like a way to convince yourself to just stop. Just stop now. Now I guess Pa and Ma don't seem to me like they'd be very forgiving. So I mean, it's almost like, what do you do? Can you stop? Or are you just stuck playing this out until it completely blows up? But it's interesting, and like I said, I really love how they did that. I got a plan, and again, everybody's got their plans. Everybody's got their fucking plans. But none of them seem to be going right. And then the only people that are calm enough really to see what's going on is kind of Pa and Ma. But, yeah, so Pa goes into the school. He's still got that gun on him. I also love, what's up next is Tracy/New Leaf calling James, you so-called James, if this buzzer goes off, so-called James, I'm going to fucking kill you. We also see that Walker is tracking the bracelet, and I think that's interesting that there's a pager and like that could go off if somebody dies, and his thing would go off if he leaves like the area. I don't know. There's just all these little things that are all kind of little. You could look at. They're not connected. They're just similar. And I was hoping that we'd get more of Walker, but we don't. And Dash's journey just continues until, like, now that you see the snow, you're like, how far has he been walking? And you realize that he just kind of went in a circle. And his dad literally runs into the sheriff, so he is trying to find his son. And once Glenn finds the phone, I love that. Are you sure about the sun? Clearly showing again, that Glenn doesn't even know that the sun, rises in the east and sets in the west. So he's just been wandering around. But James is still trying to cheerlead and champion Glenn to finish this mission, because it turns out he's only like a mile away. And I was just like thinking to myself, well then go get him. Go pick him up. Find some way to go that mile. The kid can't see. But no, but he offers him a membership into their gang called the Special Boys. No. Name it something else, please. Name it something else. I don't have to kill anyone, do I? It's just really good. No, what do we do in the group? Well, we just feel those feelings together as special boys. But Glenn does get a ride on a motorcycle, which is nice, and it's just another nice scene and everything. And we get and I can't express enough what's about to happen. So like we get Glenn finally gets to the bank, and James is there, and he's pulling him along, and he's like, "Do you want me to do it for you?" "No, I want to finish, and I'm gonna not put my glasses on. I'm not gonna put my muffs on. I'm just gonna, go do this thing, and it's gonna make me feel better, and I'm gonna be able to reflect on what a good job I did, and what a special boy I am, and how much friendship we're gonna have, and all this, and blah blah blah." And so he goes in there, and we get to see this another really cool way it was filmed, split screened, of Glenn going into the bank and Hector's wife going to the antique shop. So he has to get the money in before she buys a thing. And as this is going on, and of course, it's all slow and it's all really drawn out. And Glenn asks for a glass of water because bank water. Very specific, bank water, because he's been out in the desert for a really long time, and of course the characters don't know that they're being watched by us, and so I at this point in the episode, while I'm watching it, and I'm just going, would somebody, I was basically like this.
Ah! For fuck's sakes, I fucking had enough! God fucking damn it! Ah! 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 Ah!
So yeah, I was basically like just sitting here going, put the fucking money in the bank! Because I feel like we've been trying to get this money into the bank for like, how many episodes? So I was just wanted to reach myself into the show and grab Glenn and just be like, or even the bank teller who's counting the money, I was just like, put the fucking money in the bank! But it makes it. It gets there after the card is declined once. Just well done, guys. Well done, driving me close to madness on this long day. But it gets there. It's in the bank. Boom! Something got finished. And we end with Dad showing up at Show and Tell, where all the other guys are telling what they do. I'm assuming it's bring your dad to school day for Father's Day, and Pa just puts himself at the end of the line and waits for somebody to pick him to talk. It's going to be interesting what he has to say. So anyway, that is part 2 of Perpetual Grace Limited Season 1, Episode 4, Felipe G. Usted, almost first Mexican on the moon. If you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at YESSHH8. That is Yesh8. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying have a great night, and we will be back with Episode 5 on Monday. Have a great day.